I watched the debate between John Fetterman and Mehmet Oz, and I did so with the intention of reporting back to you today on the results. But I've got to tell you, after watching it, I really feel bad. I do. I feel bad for John Fetterman because that dude did not belong on the debate stage, and he sure as hell does not belong anywhere near the U.S. Senate. Welcome to Political Pop Culture, where the important and the not so important issues of the day are broken down, discussed, and occasionally even mocked and ridiculed. I am your host, JP, and this is my take. So now Fetterman's campaign is trying to place the blame for his abysmal performance on the closed captioning system, which of course is ridiculous. The problem was not with the closed captioning. The problem is with Fetterman. Now, I've got to tell you, I really truly hope that as a human being, he is able to make a full recovery from his stroke. It isn't funny. It isn't a laughing matter, and it is not something that he should be fighting through while he's trying to take on the job of representing the people of Pennsylvania in the U.S. Senate. Look, I disagree with John Fetterman politically. That is no secret. I find his record on crime to be disturbing, and I find his desire for unfettered abortions up to the moment of birth to be appalling. But this isn't just about policy disagreements or differing perspectives. If John Fetterman was at 100% or even close to it, I tell you, I would gleefully bash him for his moronic positions. The thing is, though, he is not at 100%. He isn't even close. Last night, we saw John Fetterman struggle to answer the most simple of questions. He obviously had certain lines drilled into him, lines that he'd keep repeating throughout the night. But again, he struggled to even answer the most simple questions. The opening question of the debate is the best example. The question was, quote, "What qualifies you to be a U.S. Senator?" Fetterman's answer was, well, you know what? Just see for yourself.
Mr. Fetterman, we're going to begin with you. Your political experience includes serving as the mayor of Braddock, a small borough near Pittsburgh, and one term as lieutenant governor. You're running for a seat that could decide the balance of power in Washington. What qualifies you to be a U.S. Senator? You have 60 seconds.
Hi, good night, everybody. I'm running to serve Pennsylvania. He's running to use Pennsylvania. Here's a man that spent more than $20 million of his own money to try to buy that seat. I'm also having to talk about something called the Oz rule, that if he's on TV, he's lying. He did that during his career on his TV show. He's done that during his campaign about lying about our record here. And he's also lying probably during this debate. And let's also talk about the elephant in the room. I had a stroke. He's never let me forget that. And I might miss some words during this debate, mush two words together, but it knocked me down, but I'm going to keep coming back up. And this campaign is all about, to me, is about fighting for everyone in Pennsylvania that ever got knocked down, that needs to get back up, and fighting for all forgotten communities all across Pennsylvania that also got knocked down, that needs to get back up.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fetterman.
Okay, yeah, his speech was halting and stuttering, and he did struggle to put sentences together. But the big takeaway here is not the manner in which he responded, but that he didn't answer the question asked. Fetterman did not say a single word about his qualifications or why he should be senator. Did he understand the question and just evade it? Did he not understand the question and just go on the attack on his opponent out of instinct?
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Or did he understand the question and was just not able to formulate an adequate response? You know what? In the end, it shouldn't matter, because regardless of the reason he answered the question the way he did, the perception is that he was incapable of doing so. And as we all know, in politics as in life, perception is reality. To anybody paying attention, this debate was over before Dr. Oz ever said a word. That opening question, that non-answer from Fetterman, the inability to field even the most softball of questions, just lost this debate and likely the race for the Democrats. Now, obviously, the question of Mr. Fetterman's health did come up during the debate, and he was asked whether or not he would provide his medical records for transparency. Fetterman's response, especially when you consider that he's recovering from a stroke, was alarming.
Detailed medical records surrounding your stroke. Mr. Fetterman, will you pledge tonight to release those records in the interest of transparency? You have 60 seconds.
No. To me, for transparency is about showing up. I'm here today to have a debate. I have speeches in front of 3,000 people in Montgomery County, all across Pennsylvania, big crowds. I believe if my doctor believes that I'm fit to serve, and that's what I believe is appropriate. And now with 2 weeks before the election, I have run a campaign and I've been very transparent about being very open about the fact we're in use captioning. And I believe that, again, my doctors, the real doctors that I believe in, they all believe that I'm ready to be served.
Follow up, I didn't hear you say you would release your full medical records. Why not? You have 30 seconds.
No, again, my doctor all believes that I'm fit to be serving, and that's what I believe is where I'm standing.
Okay, so again, I watched the whole debate, and it would be intellectually dishonest of me if I didn't at least point out a few of the examples of the absolute falsehoods told by Mr. Fetterman during the debate. John Fetterman has always been an extreme left-wing ideologue, and his extreme left-wing ideology includes things like socialized medicine. When that was brought up to him during the debate, Mr. Fetterman denied ever supporting socialized medicine. Unfortunately for him, here's the receipt, in his own words.
Mr. Fetterman, he accused you of socialized medicine, supporting socialized medicine. What is your response?
Yeah, again, it's the Oz rule. He's on TV and he's lying. I never supported any of that thing. We are the only country in the world of an industrialized nature that doesn't recognize health care as a fundamental right. Everybody gets sick. Everybody needs health care. Single payer is the ideal that we should all move towards.
It doesn't get much more blatant than that. Clearly, Fetterman has supported socialized medicine throughout his career, including in his primary earlier this year. So what did he do? He lied. Now, did he lie intentionally, or did he lie because he just doesn't understand what's going on? There's really no way for us to know. Let's take a quick look at one more example.
We support fracking. In fact, I live across the street from a steel mill, and they were going to frack to create their own energy in order to make them more competitive. And I support that, living closer to anybody else in Pennsylvania for fracking to myself. I believe that we need independence with energy, and I believe I've walked that line my entire career. I believe Democrats...
Mr. Fetterman, I do have a specific question which you can continue on this topic, but you have made two conflicting statements regarding fracking. In a 2018 interview, you said, quote, "I don't support fracking at all. I never have." But earlier this month, you told an interviewer, quote, "I support fracking. I support the energy independence that we should have here in the United States." So, Mr. Fetterman, please explain your changing position. 60 seconds.
I've always supported fracking.
Now, the problem here is, and to her credit, the moderator called him out on it. The problem here is Fetterman has not always been for fracking.
I've always supported fracking. I don't support fracking at all, and I never have. Yeah, I called for a moratorium on fracking. There's no such thing as a green fracker. I'm not pro-fracking.
2016 fracking moratorium pledge that Fetterman signed for an environmental watchdog group, as well as a 2016 tweet he sent while running for U.S. Senate.
I don't support fracking. I think it's something that has to eventually go away, and I would like to see it transition out.
John Fetterman didn't like to tell the truth before he had the stroke, and his medical condition has not improved his propensity for honesty. Again, who is to say whether or not he understands what he's being asked, or if he understands that the answers he's giving are inaccurate at best and complete lies at worst? I don't claim to know. What I do know is that John Fetterman lost the Senate race in that debate. I cannot imagine anyone intentionally casting a vote for John Fetterman after that performance. Now, clearly, I disagree with his politics, but I really cannot imagine how someone, even if they do agree with his politics, can vote for this man in good conscience. The bottom line is this: Fetterman should be recuperating somewhere. He should be off the campaign trail, and he should be getting proper treatment. This is not the right man to be representing anyone in the U.S. Senate, at least not at this point. I've said for months that Dr. Oz is a terrible candidate, but he's still the better candidate between these two choices. Democrats should have replaced John Fetterman as the nominee after he had the stroke. For Democrats to put him through this, for them to put the people of Pennsylvania through this, is unconscionable. For John Fetterman's wife to allow him to be paraded around like this, to allow him to be put in a position to make that ridiculous performance in the debate, that is absolutely disgusting. Every single person involved in Fetterman's campaign, and every single Democrat who supported his campaign since the day of the stroke, every single one of them should be embarrassed and ashamed for putting him in this position. and for not giving the people of Pennsylvania a better choice. That's my take. What's your take? You can let me know your take in the comments below. You can also let me know your take by joining the cult at PolPopCult on all major social media outlets. Thank you for listening.